Hello and welcome to PolyInnovator. This is Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator, and you're watching the Now Page update for December 2022. I almost said 23 actually there. And it's interesting because this is the 29th Now Page update in a row. It's crazy to me. And this year, it has been feeling like I've been going on autopilot, to be honest.
Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator.
I kind of got a little bit negative in the blog post there, portion of it, but I do think that this year has been good. There's been a lot of good things that have happened, a lot of good lessons who have been learned, even if they were negative in the moment. And I've had a hard time with income. Over the past few summers, I've been teaching a ton of swim lessons, and that's been my income. And I've definitely learned a lot more about business and how I should charge for things because my time is becoming more and more valuable. So I ended up charging more for doing swim lessons. Luckily, the people who I was teaching was able to do so, but it's not something I feel comfortable with at first. But I do realize that it's worth it because I do teach very well. And in order to compensate for that income, especially when swim lessons would end or were kind of not as many people, I worked for NBS or Spirit Halloween, and those were temp jobs that went away. And now that it's getting to the holiday season, I've never been much for holidays. I was really kind of into Christmas when I was a younger lad, but nowadays not so much. And the family has kind of broken apart, and it's been hard because I've been more or less the glue for a lot of people who remain. So what am I doing now, right? I've been saying this all year, but I'm still working on those same posts. And it's starting to become more clear to me now, too, that I needed to work on those posts when it was right. And I don't think it was quite right earlier on this year. I might have mentally been ready for it, but I wasn't accurately ready. What I mean by that is some of the posts are related to the Notion templates. Can't work on those posts until the Notion templates are done. And they're most of the way done at this point. I need to still get rid of some of the personal stuff and add in some templates in the little microsections. And then other posts had to do with like the multidisciplinary spectrum or polymathy, and I needed a unique kind of flow in order to get into those posts. And I think I've been chipping away at that over time as well, because I've literally gone in months ago and added an outline, for example, for some posts. Or over the course of each quarter, I might have postponed some posts. Actually, there was a couple I think I deleted, but for the most part, the ideas I had stationed onto a due date, DO date, I ended up putting those off to the side and putting them back on the backlog because they're no longer as prudent. And I think being able to trim the fat, if you will, has been able to help me because I've been doing that more and more. And ironically, the past 2 times I've done it, I thought I had trimmed the fat all the way. And even this past week, I put a post later on, like basically just not worrying about it anymore. And that was a post I thought earlier this year was crucial. So it's interesting how that's definitely given me a different change of pace. Now, in the non-professional side of things and the personal side of things, I've been playing a video game called State of Decay 2, and I think that's kind of cathartic for me, but it's also been very difficult because it is the sequel to the game that I played a ton as a kid. This is on the level of Skyrim and Fallout for me, considering I spent so much time in all 3, State of Decay, Fallout, and Skyrim, or Elder Scrolls in general at least. And it's interesting because it's a zombie survival game. You're in an open world. You have a community of people. It's permadeath. So if someone dies, they die for good. And that level of stress has been actually physically affecting me. Or at some points I'll be playing the game and I'm physically getting stressed because the zombie is chasing me and I'm out of ammo and I'm out of luck. And that kind of dire straits mentality actually kind of helped me get into some writing too. There was some days where the stress from that got me going like, oh, I am in a time constraint. I only have a limited amount of time to get this resource done or get this mission done, that kind of thing. And that kind of urgency that I got from the game actually helped me write over the past couple weeks, at least a little bit. Conversely, there's been times where I should have been writing or should have been creating, and I ended up playing the game instead. Now, in the future, PolyInnovator gaming will be a thing, and I'll be able to use that kind of content use the gaming as content, and that's going to help a lot. But for the most part, it is more of a distraction. And I shouldn't say distraction because that initiates it as a negative thing, but it does help me decompress. At least most gaming does, maybe not so much State of Decay. But I find it really interesting too because it's getting me to think in systems again. And the way the game works, it gives you certain systems, and trying to use those systems and manipulate them for your best advantage. So there's a device that will prevent zombies from getting into your base. It sends a signal to their brains and causes them to not do it. Really fascinating, really useful, because the base I have is a baseball field, and you can use the announcer box to bring in a siege of zombies. But since they can't go in, they don't actually hurt you at all. But you get rewards for doing the siege by calling them in. So it's almost using those systems together in a unique way in order to benefit the community. And it's very fascinating too, because there's 5 levels of difficulty. Normal is level 2, and even level 3 was really difficult. And then level 5 and 4 have been just brutal, utterly brutal. And I tried playing 5, I got my ass handed to me, and then I went down to 4, got used to that, and then went back up to 5 with a really strong community, full-fledged community. Started off with 12, which is the max amount of people you can have in your community, and I lost 5 of them already. And I'm only halfway through the progress of this particular region, and yet it's one of those things where I was able to get some more recruits and fill in the gaps a little bit. But it was fascinating to me how difficult this was, despite the fact I started off so well. I had that special device. I had a full-fledged of strong community members. I had resources right off the bat. And yet I still struggled. I still am struggling even. So what's coming up now? What's in the bigger picture? And this kind of mentality of just thinking in the clouds has always been my kind of thing. I'm just one of those people that head in the clouds, focusing on the big picture. Don't like to get my hands dirty. Like I literally don't like dirt on my hands. And now it's interesting how when I worked at NBS, I got dirty pretty easily. My legs, my hands, even my face had dirt on it from all the dust in the library area. And it was interesting because I didn't really mind it as much. It was just one of those things that it was cause and effect, right? It's gonna happen. I can't do anything about it except for wash up. I'll do that. And so I don't mind getting my hands dirty if I need to, but oftentimes I psych myself out or I convince myself that I don't need to. And so writing this post, creating this video, this is me getting my hands dirty. This is me doing something that I didn't necessarily want to do today. I wanted to go play a game. I wanted to go relax. When I woke up this morning, mind you, late. I woke up late because I stayed up late playing the game. I woke up, I finished a couple small things, and then went in there and started playing the game. Now, I don't regret that decision because I was able to build up my community really well. I was able to get a lot of progress done in a short time span on there. But it left me behind on this Now page update. I wrote the Now page earlier, and then I kind of put it off to the side because the video is always what gets me, right? The actual writing, I can do no problem. The video, part of it's actually the recordings. This is not that bad. I made a couple mistakes. I'll cut it out. Not a big deal. It's the editing part that gets me. I can record interviews all day long and really not tire from it for the most parts. If I have enough caffeine, at least. But editing the videos, that's what gets me, and that's what makes it harder. Now, I'm not going to keep droning on and on here. I am planning on doing a lot, though. By next summer or so, I'm going to hopefully release my swimming book. Not hopefully, and that's what I'm aiming for, is by that point. And every week until then, I'm going to be writing about swimming and actually leading up to the book. And in those posts, too, little bits and pieces of those posts are going to end up being in the book, and it helps me kind of think about what needs to be in it. Not only that, I started the Poly-Innovator Digest, which is my content repurposing newsletter, and I think the people who have signed up for it already are actually super excited about it. At least I am excited about it for them, because I know there's a lot of really amazing posts coming. And most of the posts are going to be open to all. Some of them might only be for the members who have signed up for it. It really depends on the post itself. And I find that this whole membership kind of thing is fascinating. I really do like having special posts hidden for members, special posts hidden for paid members even too, because I make quality content and I try to make sure it's worthwhile. I'm actually writing a mega post about State of Decay, and that's going to be one of the posts that's for Poly Pro. And it's one of those things where it just started coming out of nowhere. Like last night and today, I added a ton to it because I was able to just go with the flow. And that's what I've been doing, so I'm able to channel that into something productive. So that's coming up in the near future. In the grand future, some more courses, hopefully that book, and overall, just a lot more content. So thank you. Cheers. Check out the blog post below.